Days of Our Lives preview. Salem faces a biological threat, and the overcrowded DiMera Crypt gets another delivery. Salem, the picturesque Midwestern town with a body count that would rival a medieval battlefield, is once again proving that its greatest export isn't maple syrup or moral fortitude, but sheer, unadulterated chaos. This week, the citizens of our favorite hamlet are trading their typical fare of poisoned pastries and amnesia-inducing falls for something far more insidious, a biological threat that puts the entire community in lockdown. And in a grimly poetic parallel, the ever-popular DiMera family crypt, Salem's most exclusive and crowded final resting place, is reportedly expecting another delivery. For decades, Salemites have weathered everything from mind control chips and masked Avengers to time-traveling necklaces. But a biological threat strikes a different, more visceral chord. It's not a villain you can reason with, shoot, or expose in a public confession at Doug's place. It's invisible, impersonal, and terrifyingly democratic in its potential reach. Sources at University Hospital indicate that Dr. Kayla Johnson and Dr. Sarah Horton are scrambling to identify a mysterious, fast-acting pathogen that has already sent several residents into critical condition. The symptoms are described as flu-like at first, but rapidly progress to severe neurological impairment, confusion, paranoia, and vivid hallucinations. This isn't like anything in our medical texts. Kayla was overheard telling Chief of Security, Steve Johnson. It spreads through airborne transmission, but the incubation period is wildly inconsistent. And the hallucinations, they're not random. Patients are reliving their darkest, most traumatic memories. This last detail suggests the Salem strain may be less a random act of nature and more a targeted act of vengeance, weaponizing guilt and regret. The immediate suspects. The list is, as always, delightfully long. Could this be the final revenge plot of the late, great Orpheus, activated from beyond the grave? Is it a misguided experiment from Constantine, seeking to control the town through fear? Or perhaps a new, more ruthless player has entered the board, using science as a scalpel to cut open Salem's collective psyche? The pandemic-era parallels are unmistakable, but in Salem, the isolation is sure to be punctuated by illicit liaisons, clandestine meetings, and at least one high-stakes break-in at the Horton Lab. As the town above grapples with contagion and quarantine, the earth below the DiMera mansion continues its morbidly efficient operation. The family crypt, a Gothic mausoleum that has seen more traffic than Salem's bus station, is preparing for a new occupant. The question on everyone's lips: who will be the next to take up permanent residence in this marble hotel? Rumors are flying faster than a thrown champagne flute at a Brady family dinner. Is the pathogen claiming its first major victim? Or is this a separate, more traditional demise, a poisoning, a push, a fatal confrontation? Given the timing, one can't help but theorize a connection. Could a panicked citizen, driven mad by feverish hallucinations, commit an irreversible act? Or is the victim patient zero, silenced to cover up the outbreak's origins? The crypt current roster reads like a who's who of Salem villainy and martyrdom, from original patriarch Stefano, though his occupancy has been intermittent, to beloved heroes like Bo Brady. Space is at a premium. One imagines a spectral realtor showing coffins like studio apartments. This slot has a lovely view of the eternal flame, and you'll be next to your half-brother who you murdered. Charming, really. This dual crisis, the biological and the mortal, brilliantly mirrors the two core engines of Days of Our Lives: the high-stakes, town-wide disaster, and the intimate, searing tragedy of death. One threatens the body of the community, the other, the soul of a family. The DiMeras, ever the epicenter of turmoil, are caught in both. As EJ and Johnny likely wrestle for control of the family business amidst the crisis, they may also be arranging a funeral. The emotional whiplash is quintessential Salem. Furthermore, the concept of hallucinations forced upon the town is a writer's goldmine. Imagine the scenes: Hope, tormented by visions of the late Stefano; Nicole, haunted by memories of Sydney's loss. Xander, reliving his darker deeds. This isn't just an illness. It's a forced walk down memory lane, a town-wide therapy session from hell that could unearth old secrets, trigger shocking confessions, and reopen wounds just as they'd begun to scar. In a town built on buried truths, a pathogen that forces them to the surface is the ultimate disruptor. The convergence of these plots also asks a profound, if macabre, question about Salem's relationship with death. The town treats the DiMera crypt with a strange normalcy, a revolving door to the afterlife. Yet a modern, scientific, faceless threat like a virus reminds them that mortality can be chaotic, untidy, and utterly beyond the control of even the most meticulous revenge plot. It's a clash between the Gothic and the modern, between the personal vendetta and the anonymous plague. As we tune in this week, we won't just be watching for the shock of who dies or the thrill of a medical mystery. We'll be witnessing Salem in a pressure cooker of its own making. The biological threat exposes their vulnerabilities, while the crypt's new delivery reinforces their brutal, cyclical history. In true Salem fashion, even in the face of a potential apocalypse, life and death goes on. Dramatically, passionately, and with at least 3 commercial breaks. So, stock up on herbal tea, lock your doors, though it won't help against an airborne pathogen, and say a little prayer for the overworked funeral director handling the DiMera account. Salem is under siege, and from the hospital to the crypt, the drama is, quite literally, both contagious and terminal.